I wish here in the Philippines we have nursing home and residential home for elderly people with dementia.
Alam niyo, napapag-usapan namin yan na my mom, it is funny because dito sa, not only in the Philippines, but also in Asia, wala sa ugali natin na itinatabi ang mga nakakatanda. Para sa atin, they are a treasure. That's why we treat our elderly with all the respect. We treat them with all the care and the comfort. And in the Philippines, we do not. It is not part of our culture. Na sinasabi matanda na kailangan may nakabantay. Basta idali na lang natin doon at iwan natin sa isang lugar. I think because of that, I think the approach would probably be to improve healthcare in general. And especially the elderly, they require extra care simply because they are elderly, may mga karamdaman na. And the healthcare system must be improved. And the way we do that is that we bring the healthcare system down to the people. Ang naging experience ko sa Ilocos Norte, napakataas na mortality rate. Ang tawag sa ospital namin, Mona Lisa. Sabi ko, bakit Mona Lisa? Well, they lie there and they die there. Sabi ko, napakalupit naman yan. Bakit kaya? And the reason that they told me is that kasi ang mga nagtatrabaho ay hindi pupunta sa ospital hanggang malala na ang kondisyon nila. And by the time na pumunta sila sa ospital, hindi na magamot. Inaantay na lang, just make them comfortable before they go. And so what is it? So because totoo nga naman, ang layo ng pupuntahan nila, may alagang bata, may trabaho na kailangan iwanan, marami silang kailangan gawin. Malaking arrangement ang gagawin bago sila makapunta sa ospital. Eh kung ma-confine pa sila, paano ba yun yung kanilang mga responsibilities? Kaya ang aming laging pinopost ay dapat ang healthcare system, imbis na mag-antay na dumating ang pasyente, ay puntahan sa mga isolated na barangay, sa mga malalayong lugar, at masimulan ang What we did was we identified the so-called isolated barangays, which were very far away. We had medical mission. Yung medical mission namin, hindi paminsan-minsan. Medical mission namin, twice a month. Umaalis, lumalabas. At pinupuntahan yung mga isolated barangay. Hindi kami pupunta sa poblasyon dahil madali sa yung mga tiga-poblasyon na pupunta sa ospital. And that was successful. Dahil doon nagsimula na magkaroon ng medical record yung mga pasyente. Sinabayan na namin ng dentista, sinabayan na namin ng LTO, sinabayan na namin ng BIA, lahat na ng opisina para hindi na kailangan sila bumaba at pupunta sa opisina. So that is one part of it. The other thing is, if you're in the healthcare, what little that I know is, ang pinakamaraming kinoconfine is lower intestinal, upper buntis, and yung buntis and small accidents. Na meron na sugatan, kailangan itahi, meron na nabalian, kailangan isip. This does not need a tertiary level hospital. What it needs is an RHU. So aming ginawa ay pinarami ang RHU. At para magkalat, yung RHU, 2 araw sa isang linggo, may doktor. Laging may midwife, laging may nurse ang bawat RHU. And that is essentially, and it seems to have been effective. Dahil may mas magandang coordination sa ospital, kung nangangailangan ng ambulansya, dadalhin sa ospital. So again, I think it comes back to the same idea. And again, it is a lesson and an instinct that I picked up from being in local government. Bring the services to the people. Do not wait for people to come and ask and avail of those services. Kung kayo ang gobyerno na, kayo ang gumapit at tingnan ninyo kung anong pangangailangan. And I think that applies even to the elderly. Kasi karamihan, me myself, for example, I would not want to put my mother into, I would prefer for her to be with us. And I think that applies. Nasa kultura ng Pilipino yan eh. Respetado natin ang mga nakakatanda sa atin. And so I think to get around that cultural, shall we say, that part of our culture, and still provide good health care. I think pababain natin ang serbisyo. At maybe we can have specialists also for those who are elderly who have particular problems. But again, it is not enough that we have facilities to help our elderly, to help those who are marginalized, yung mga bata, yung mga may sakit, yung mga matatanda, lahat yan, yung mga with disabilities, lahat yan, imbis na antayin natin sila mag-avail, tayo lumapit sa kanila at ibigay natin ang servisyo sa kanila.
Thank you very much. And I have still a little bit for about that's like the program of the UPS. So I really appreciate the program. But one thing I notice is walang pumupunta sa area. Maraming gamot. Yung ibang tao na sa remote, hindi kaya masahin papunta sa health center. So tama yung suggestion nyo. Ang mga healthcare provider ang magpunta. Kasi marami talaga, mamamatay na lang kasi ang daming gamot. Wala naman mag-inject kasi hindi mo pwede ipadala. Based on my experience, because I came from Quignon, so I'm from Mindanao. So since experience Mindanao, so that's my experience in my home.
Well, that's pareho ng experience natin because we have come to the same conclusion. That again, that general guiding principle that we should not wait for people to come to government. Government should go to the people.
Okay. The second question. Thank you. Senator Lance Masters from Rotary Club of Manila, American but permanent resident here. I love this country. My question for you is, if elected Vice President, what would you personally do to reduce the perception and the reality of corruption in this country, particularly in its government?
Thank you. Of course, that is we always have to be thinking not only in government, but even in private businesses to reduce what can only be described as the corrosive effect of corruption. And the only way to do that is simply be very even in your application of justice. In that, again, I talked about too much politics. We have seen so many examples where those that are on the other side of the political fence, not only are they charged, but if they have done nothing wrong, then their charges will be made or created to give them problems politically. Those that have been seen with their hand in the kitty, red-handed, still go scot-free. Now that means that no matter how sincere is, and I believe this president is sincere in his anti-corruption drive, but because of those shall we say, weaknesses in the application of justice. Because of that, then no matter how sincere the effort is, there is little credibility with people. And they say, well, if he can get away with it, I should be able to get away with it. So long as I make the right noises, so long as I know the right people, so long as I pay people off, I can get away with it. Because it's happening, why not me? And that is that undercuts the entire effort. So we have to continue the idea of transparency, where it is very, very clear where funding is going. In other countries, for example, I talk to Filipinos, let's say in France, and I ask them, how is life here? And they say, one of the main, I just spoke to my friend in France, that's why I use that example. He says, it's ridiculous. The taxes that we have to pay are so high. The withholding, everybody's a withholding agent in our system. And I said, so is it too much? And he thought about it and he said, no. And I said, why not? I see where my money is going. I see the new roads. I see the policemen doing their job. I see when I'm in need of assistance, I get the assistance. I see that people are trying to make things work. And I see where every centime, every cent goes. And that's why, yes, I will complain like anyone else will complain. I would like to keep 100% of my income, as everybody would. But when you think about it, it's all right because I see where my money goes. That is what we need to do. If we are collecting taxes at the rate that our favorite chairman of the BIR is collecting taxes, and she has been very, very zealous in that in her duties. If we are going to be very strict about tax collection, and we should, we must also look on the other side, and say, okay, we are collecting taxes, we are doing this, but at this point, you will also see where that goes. We will ask you, where do you think your money should go? We need money for the government to work, for the government to function. Where would you like for us to put our emphasis? Where would you like to put our efforts? And again, that is the only way that people will understand, well, I perhaps rather have less fees. I probably would prefer to have fewer payments to the government, but I can live with this because this is, I can see, it's not going into somebody's pocket. It is going into the services, the facilities that government needs to provide good governance, to provide service, to provide support to our people. And that, again, will immediately make the government credible. And it will make it harder and harder for those who choose to steal from government to do so. Because the culture within government will change. And it is good then not to steal more. What will be good is to provide more, to use more, like the provision of services. To have the government has a strange. Those of you who are in business will understand this immediately. We have a strange system wherein sometimes we do not reward success. And always my example is, if I am a head of a department and you give me 100 pesos for my budget for this year or for last year, but I was so efficient, my operations were so streamlined, I only spent 90 pesos. What will the government do? If you were in private business, you say, this guy's good. Let's give him more responsibilities. We'll get more, let's be using more. What will the government say? Oh, you didn't need 100, I'll give you 90 next year. So instead of increasing your budget, we reduce it. We have to learn how to reward success. We have to learn how to reward efficiency. We have to take a leaf out of the book of the private sector and say these efficiencies are what gives credibility to our government. And so what I'm espousing here is nothing less than a change in culture in the government. That we reward success, we reward efficiency, we reward honesty. Do not allow politics to enter into the decision-making process. Meritocracy must rule the day. And if we do that, we are a long way into making clear that in this government, corruption, not only do we prosecute it, not only do we not look the other way, we prosecute it to the fullest extent of the law. And if your boss, I'm in your party, sorry na lang, can't do anything. The law is the law. And that is what we need to do to gain that credibility. We gain that credibility, we change the culture in government. And everyone in government, instead of thinking, let's make money out of this, that they think, what can we do to make things better, so that people recognize that government's at work, that we did a good job. And that will be, I think, the culture change. It's not a small thing. It's a tectonic shift, especially within the government. But we have to try.
Yes, you are indeed a strong vice presidential candidate. But I can say you are more stronger being a presidential candidate. Why? I can say majority of us are Marcos pa rin.
Well, thank you. Maybe we can apply that saying to the vice presidency. The simple question is why did I not run for president? I truly believe, and we've heard this all before, and I think we all agree, that the presidency is part hard work, part luck, but certainly destiny. And I think that destiny has other plans for me in this election. And I believe that what is more important is to define the job as vice president is not similar to in the Philippines. It's not similar to others. Kaya gaya na nasabi ni Manong Ernie Maceta, trabaho lang naman ng mga vice, mag-antay ng heart attack. Eh, dito sa Pilipinas, hindi. Dahil, because the Vice President is elected separately. You can make the job what it is. But it becomes a job on its own. Kasi hindi ka nahalal dahil sa Pangulo. Dahil malakas yung Pangulo mo, nadala ka. In our case, it's not the case. Kahit yung mga Pangulo, kung sino man ang naging Pangulo, ay you have to run your own campaign. You have to be voted in separately. Kaya malaki ang the natural reaction is to say na wala naman magagawa ang Vice President. Quite the contrary. Because you are elected on your own, you have the potential to do as much as you want. You can make of the job what you want. You can wait around and wait for the president to get sick, or you can actually be more aggressive and go out there and make advocacies, do your work, talk to people, start something, and especially with the support of the president. And that is something that I will immediately try to gain. The media asked me many times, let us say that you have been elected Vice President, what will be the first thing that you do? The first thing that I will do is report to my president. The first thing I will do is to say, Mr. President, congratulations on your election. I am here, I am your Vice President, I am your partner in developing this country. I am here to work with you. And with that beginning, that is a good start. We have to start that way. Bring again, yung sinasabi yung unity. The unity that I talk about, that is something that we really have not only talk about, but we have to live it. We have to make it our life. That we are unifying forces rather than forces that seek to polarize the society.
Katanungan, marami po akong katanungan at mula po sa diksyon, kriminalidad, at mga korupsyon. Isa lang ang pumasok sa isip ko eh. Lahat ng suliranin na ito na pumasok sa isipan ko ngayon, merong kalutasan. Ang tugon dito, kayo po, ang mamumuno! Nakasama ko po, noong 3 dekadang nakaraan, bata pa ako noon. Lahat ng mga Pilipino ay pagmamalaki nila sa buong daigdig dahil sa budihing amang ninyo. Kayo po ang magpapatuloy po nito, Sir Bongbong.
Thank you.
Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat. Certainly we will try. And I'm glad
Thank you.
that you are supportive of that message of unity that I am advocating. And I hope with that kind of support, talagang magiging matagumpay itong ating sinasabing kilusan para sa pagkakaisa ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much.